Hey, it's Roger from Roger's Hot Rod Garage, and welcome to my channel. I'm going to go ahead and continue on with the C2 mid-year 1966 numbers matching 327 Corvette project I picked up probably about a month ago, maybe even 45 days. My North Carolina math ain't that good, but anyway, long story short, you saw me do the oil pan yesterday. That's the video I just posted. That would be number 2 on this car. Turned out pretty spiffy. So I'm going to take some of that engine paint and do the same thing right here along this line. So this is probably about a half an hour of scraping off this old gasket up here. I'll put a rag over top of here. I'll put a rag down here to keep the Chevy orange off of this black stuff I just matted the other day, and just clean it up again. Again, this is not a professional restoration, but I literally lose sleep at night if I come down here and I got this all chipped off and painted here. So I already hit this with this stuff called brake cleaner, brake and parts cleaner. I get it in these economical little 1-liter bottles, and then I get these 1-gallon refill canisters right there. So I'm over here in Europe, so that's like how it's written. It's called Bremsen und Teilereiniger, which basically means brake and parts cleaner for you folks in the States. But anyway, the goal here is just to make it pretty it up, aesthetically pleasing. I'll pull the plugs out, of course. I'm going to go ahead and replace the plugs. And I'm not saying I'm neat and organized, but I can't stand a nasty shop. So I've got my old school plugs down here. These are my new school plugs right here, fit the 86 and later motors. And then this is some BMW stuff, because obviously I've got a BMW V12 34 coupes in here, so those are those plugs for that right here. And I always keep some stuff on stock, so I'm over here in Europe, so I don't have to call Summit Racing up every single time I want to get something. And look, the pink flamingos, if you count them from yesterday to today, there's 3 more that actually made it into the pool. They came in, I think they're flying in from Africa, but obviously they're eating some pink shrimp, and that's why the colors are the way they are. Unfortunately, these guys got caught up in a duck hunting episode and they didn't quite make it, so I'm going to see if I can't patch them up a little bit right there and put some air in them tomorrow. So that's Flamingo 1 and 2. And so I don't lose everybody's interest right here on my channel. This is the music I love listening to. I've been listening to this Johnny Cash stuff probably solid repeating for the last hour and a half. One piece at a time. So I'll cut that off so I don't get a YouTube violation and a copyright violation. I'm pretty good on that. I got none so far. But anyway, stay tuned. I'm just going to throw a video together. I've actually got tomorrow off, which is Tuesday. That would be the 30th of July, 2024. Just going to paint this up so I can get a good night's sleep tonight. Come in here tomorrow morning and I'll put those stainless steel headers on and cinch all that up and then start working my exhaust going this way. But the goal is, I'm waiting for Summit Racing for that the 1-wire alternator is going to go over here. This is going to be the HEI Chevrolet distributor with the tack drive that you see right down here. Ordered that about a week and a half ago. Should show up any minute. So hey, look, enjoy the rest of the video and thanks for watching. So I know I'm going to lose all kinds of credibility here for the little credibility I already have, but check this out. So this is what it looks like, and again, people are probably going to chastise me in the comments, but I get everything cleaned up. I usually would actually take this right here and file this off right here, these little casting marks, but I'm going to keep those on here because some purists are going to say, no, you got to have the casting marks on there. But I'm going to leave them on there. Usually I take that off and clean all this stuff around the corner, make it nice and smooth. Look, I'm not looking to make this thing look pretty. I'm just going to put a little bit of orange paint right here for all you people in the comments, and then I'm just going to put the headers on tomorrow, and it's going to have a nice contrast. I'm sounding like a little artsy fartsy guy, so that's all I'm doing, folks. See, that's all. I'm just barely hitting a little bit of those high areas, okay? So don't kill me here. That's all I'm doing, just a little bit of that orange paint on there. And again, a light coat, let it get sticky, and then put the second coat on. For you people who don't know how to use a spray can, like I think that's a prerequisite from being from the South, or especially from North Carolina. See, that's all I'm doing. It's just hitting a little bit. That's all I'm doing. This side is basically already done, okay? So I'll go do the other side real quick and then move on from there. The other side's a little harder because I got the damn heater hoses in the way, but I think I can still get it from here.
Look, that's all I'm doing. Just hitting a little bit so it looks.
All right, so tomorrow is get rid of Altpapier, what they call it here in Germany, which is basically recycling paper day. So I'm gonna take advantage of that situation and get this one box that I bought from Home Depot, Bauhaus over here. And now I might be able to either put all that in here or that in here. So I think I'm gonna get rid of the big box right here and just go through some of the stuff and do a little inventory. So this is the original, well, it's the cap, the old school cap, the spark plug wires. And since I'm getting an HEI anyway, I'm going to carefully lay that over here. And I'm gonna basically bag that up, box it up, label it. This is my fuel regulator, Napa fuel regulator. I'm probably not gonna use that because a normal pump should do about 5 or 6 PSI for that carburetor. I don't know what that is, but I'm sure I'm not gonna throw it away. It's something. If you know what that is, put it in the comments. Something that goes on the firewall, I would imagine. Voltage regulator, not gonna do that. I'm gonna go GM1 wire. This is part of the windshield, not windshield wiper, but the headlights that flip around. So I'm gonna put that over here in this pack. That is obviously just a belt. I don't know what this is. If somebody knows what this is right here, it's some kind of switch. Not switch, but some kind of indicator switch. So it goes click, click, on, off. I literally don't know what it is. Let me hold it a little bit closer to the camera in case you know what it is. If you're one of those Corvette C2 experts, what is that? Give me the minute number and what that is right there. Anyway, it's gonna go over here for right now. This just miscellaneous nuts and bolts. I don't know what that is. I don't know what this is either, but I'll eventually figure it out. If you know what that is, tell me that. I'll put this right in here without it dumping out. Well, hell, it says right here. This is a cushion fork boot Corvette clutch fork. So, okay, that's easy. And something for the brake, emergency brake, I would imagine. I already have those, and I don't know if, I guess they're working. Something in a bag with a cushion. It's labeled, so I'm not worried about it right now. And here is just some more cups and stuff. But you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get myself a little mini box and put all that stuff in it. So all my little nuts and bolts that are remaining in here will go in this little box right here. I do know what these are. These are to hold the spare tire in. That big giant thingy. And right here, there's 3 of them. This goes into the block. That is for your clutch to rotate on. This is a new one. Ladies and gentlemen, I already have one. That's for your alternator, tensioner. I don't know what that is, but I think it goes on the back of the starter to be supported because it's that big ass heavy starter. So lay that in here. And then here's just some nuts and bolts. That is a grounding strap for something. I'm glad I'm going through all this. Oh, that's pretty cool. That is the other starter bolt to hold in the starter. The shorter one, the longer one is laying right down here someplace. And basically, so check this out. Those oil pan bolts I was looking for the other day, or yesterday, I just found them. Not a big deal. I got the other ones in, they work perfectly fine. So I put the stuff in here. The rest of this is just a couple little springs. 2-to-1 for the vacuum. I guess that's the Corvette part, I don't know, but I'm gonna keep it because it looks cool. Hey, the starter cable, or not starter cable, battery to starter cable, so I found that one. That's pretty cool. Hey look, Bob's your uncle. I'll throw the rest of the stuff in here. A couple of nuts and bolts, and hope my pants aren't falling down right now, and I've got this on the video, but I think they are, so never mind. So look, I'll take that outside, throw it away, and then voila, the pile of crap is getting smaller. I can actually put this here now. I'll put the drive shaft in maybe tomorrow. That's the wrong angle there. Right there. Nuts, bolts. That I heard is the electric motor for the headlights to swivel back and forth. There's the bolt I just told you about 8 seconds ago I couldn't find. Ooh. Some kind of assembly here with the bolt too. 1 bolt, 2 bolts. I have no idea what this is. I'll figure it out. Again, this is the first Corvette I've ever owned, so I'll figure it out. If not, I'll go find a C2 someplace at a car show and just lay underneath it and take pictures. Don't know what that is, but look, the pile of stuff is really small right now, so I'll put it in the category. These are those bolts for the rear bumper, which I already have. And that's basically it. I'll flip this one around this way, and my tripping hazard has just been reduced. Now, all you parts, go to bed and go to sleep. Safety first. Tell you what, ever since I got this little polishing wheel for about 20 years ago, man, this thing really shines up stuff. I mean, you can sit there with some others and spend a half an hour or 2 days cleaning the crap up, but look, I just wanted to clean this thing up. But look, what I wanted to show you here, let me cut my light off here and move my camera around, is these valve covers. You know, I personally don't think they're anything super special, but they did clean up kind of nice. And if I'm not mistaken, and the literature that I read and the YouTube stuff I read, although YouTube could be wrong, is I think these came with stamped steel with 327 written across the top. These are obviously without breathers in them, without PCV valve input on them, so they're the closed ones. I don't think they're anything special, but let me flip these around for you and show you what's written on the inside right here. So here, stamped in is called, the cast in is called Lester, L-E-S-T-E-R. Same thing right there. And then the number that's stamped in is 3767493, and the exact same number right there appears. Leave a comment if you can tell me what that means. Whether, I don't think it's anything significant or special. Maybe these things were made in the 70s or 80s and somebody think it was a nice little upgrade. Other than that, I don't know. And let me go over here and pause on the video, not close it out, but pause on the video for me, because it is 10 o'clock at night and I got up at like 5 a.m. this morning. Look how clean that turned out. So, you know, you can say, no, that's not the way to do that. And obviously, if you had the motor out, you can paint the motor a little bit better and I do it a little bit different. Like I said, I usually take those casting marks off right there, but I left them on here. I just wanted to basically, before I put the valve covers back on, and especially put those stainless steel headers on, which are now laying right up here, I just wanted to clean that up a little bit, and that's basically it. So that's it from Roger's Hot Rod Garage from this evening. I'll crank up tomorrow morning, Tuesday morning, the 30th of July, 2024. And look what appeared here. I lost that in the last video. I'm not going to say where it was and how it arrived here, but now I have that multi-HF Motool, which is the hydraulic steering fluid, which I was missing on 2 videos ago when I was doing the power steering pump on the 30 Ford Coupe out there. But look, hey, thanks for watching again. I won't close it out here, and I'll get back with you tomorrow morning. All right, hey, it's the next morning. Don't tell anybody, but I set my alarm clock for like 6:30 this morning. I've been out here for a solid 2 or 3 hours already. So check this out. I'm gonna glue those valve covers today. And here's my drawer of stuff. Hold on. Yeah, I know I saw these in here today. Look, I even got 2 packs of these. Why? I don't know.
I think it's at Summit Racing evening. Every Sunday evening I go in there. Man, come on, get in here. Keep those nice and unbent. Okay, there we go. Grab one of these right here.
Small block Chevy. And if you ever notice, see how they got two holes right there? Wait a minute, let me show you this a little bit clearer. They got two holes. This is for either pre-59 or post-59, so staggered head valve covers or non-staggered head valve covers. But anyway, long story short, let me get my fingernails up in here. That ain't working. Grab myself a little screwdriver here. A little scrape. Don't you hate that when you cut your fingernails so short that you can't grab a hold of stuff? But anyway, what I do always, I take a little bit of paint thinner or, you know, like an acetone and clean this thing off just to get any kind of rubber or grease off of these things. But there's those two holes, so that's pre and post 59 Chevrolet. And so what I do, real simple, you can see that, is I just lay these up in here and glue them down with, not this one because it's almost empty, but the ultra black RTV. I use this stuff like, I use it for glue, I use it for window channeling, for putting in weather stripping, anything, and it works absolutely great, and especially for temperature places like this. Not like super high heat like exhaust systems, you use the red stuff for that, but for gluing in valve covers. And obviously this will be glued. And what I am going to do is I'm still going to actually score this even a little bit more, although I hit the wire brush on this. You saw that a couple minutes ago. I'm going to go ahead and get some 80 grit sandpaper and just rough that edge up so this right here adheres 100%. That way, once it's on here, you can pull this valve cover off and on, and this is the seal you're actually looking for. So look, that took a little bit too long with the 80 grit sandpaper, so I got an 80 grit flapper wheel on there. Again, I'm just scoring up this little edge on the inside right here so the RTV's got something to grab a hold of, that's all. All right, just a clean rag here and just brake parts cleaner and get any kind of oil and crap that, you know, these things came straight out the package right now, but still, if you got oil in RTV, well, guess what doesn't stick to RTV or oil, vice versa. Flip it around the other side. And look, these things came straight out the box, still got dirt on them. I feel like I'm a advertising guy on one of those infomercial channels right now, but this is just a couple of things I've learned over my time on the planet. It's just have everything nice and clean. Add RTV, add the valve covers, and you're good to go. So a lot of people don't know this, but when you buy this stuff, I'm sure most of you do, don't grab yourself a screwdriver and poke a hole in here. On the side of this cap right here on the inside is that right there. And check this out, I'm not going to put this little doohickey on right here because I press it nice and flat. Again, a nice thin coat will do. And the main thing is to get it stuck or get it jammed up into that corner right there. And look, the idea here is more is better. Here it's more about quality and getting it exactly where you want it, because the rest of this crap is just going to squeeze out if you don't do it correctly. And I'll show you that in just a second. Go around those bolt holes. And again, don't worry about it right now because I'm going to take my little thumb here, or finger, depending on what angle it is, and go around this corner right here just to get it laid down. And if you notice the toilet paper over there, the TP, I got that primarily there. You should pull yourself a whole bunch of these little things off right here, individual little sheets, because once you touch RTV with your finger, you don't want to use the same rag again because then it turns into a big giant mess. Anyway, I'm just rambling on right now, but look, real quick, take the finger and push that stuff up in the corner lightly, lightly, lightly. And again, anything you put on here, XF is going to squeeze out anyway, so what's the point? And if you're watching this channel, you go like, this guy really telling me how to glue on valve cover rubber gaskets. Well, I can tell you one thing, my valve covers don't leak, period, because of this little method right here. Now once I find out whether I have a solid lifter cam or a hydraulic, I'll either, if I have hydraulic and you don't have to set them well, once every 2 or 3 years, I'll go ahead and glue these down too. And that's it. And don't worry about the little excess. You can basically peel it off like a dry booger on the inside of your nostril. Don't say I said that. And here's what these things are great for. Wipe, discard. Wipe, discard, because if you touch anything right now on the outside of that nicely polished chrome Corvette valve cover, it's going to start looking like crap. So anyway, fingers are clean. And now the simple process of just taking this and laying it on that where you just put the RTV. And again, this thing's been cleaned. Line those holes up, push that in the corner all the way around. And look, if I had that crap on my fingers, I'd be getting it all over the backside. So anyway, that's just my personal opinion on how I do that. And get it nice up in the corner here. I don't know if you can see that or not. In the corner, it's the little silicone just barely squeezed out that corner. That's exactly what I want. And then work it down in there, all the way down this edge over here. And I am done for this particular case right here. Squeeze it in there and just watch it come out that corner right there. That's all I'm looking for. Done deal. Got a little bit on the back of my thumb right here for this little corner right here, and you can wipe it off of there. And that way prevents all that crap from bubbling out. And if it does bubble out, just take the little paper towel method I told you right here, or toilet paper method, and just swipe it off of there and then get rid of it. So look, now the only thing I'll do is I'll get rid of that, move my camera. I will flip this upside down, making sure one more time everything is good and it's in the corners, which it is. Make sure you have no RTV on this edge because it'll literally stick to the table, and I think I'm good to go. Yep, flip it around. Press down on it. And no, I'm not using a paper towel. This is 30 pounds of weight. Now grab your screwdriver and make sure that thing is aligned and there's not a whole bunch of RTV stuck up in that hole, which it shouldn't be. You can feel there it is, and I can see it as well too. So that's it. All right, say, look, I'm getting ready to put these down up in here. So I got everything cleaned up and looking decent. You'll see this couple of seconds. Hey, look, if you look way over here, if you can see that, I've got this stuff called anti-seize. And what I'm going to do is I just put a dab of that on these bolts that came with the kit right now. Whether it burns off or not when this thing gets hot, I don't know. I just feel better when I put a little bit of that stuff on there, and these go in there nice and smooth instead of having to honk those things up in there. So real simple. I'm going to lower this down up in here. And again, this is not a professional restoration. Once I got that laid down in here, I will take my gasket, lay it down in here, grab one of these. I could be on the outside, whichever one I get to easier first. Pop it in here and find the hole. And then I just said anti-seize, which I didn't do. Hold on just a second. See if I can do that without moving it. A little bit of anti-seize. Just a dab will do. And then slide it back up in the hole. That's some nasty stuff, by the way. If it gets on your fingers, you got to get a couple of paper towel swipes to get that crap off of there. But look, that's basically it in a nutshell. Hey, and somebody commented on last week's video why I choose to go with the block huggers, the shorties, instead of the full flow. Yeah, I know you're going to get a little bit more horsepower and high revs out of it, but I'm more about putting those isolators on there and those putting those isolators down there to stop vibrations. Again, I'm building this thing not for a race car, but
so I can drive it, and of course every now and then step on the gas when I hit the on-ramp on the Autobahn here in Germany. So that's basically it. So let me go get myself a 3/8 is what these are. But look how smooth. I'm finger tightening those in right now with no issues. So check this out. I said 3/8. Oh, it's a little bit too small, so I went and got a 7/16. That was too big. So that is a SAE coarse thread going into a 66 Corvette. But the only damn thing that fits it is a 10 millimeter. So I don't know who the hell designed that, but look, this is actually working out perfectly fine right here. I don't care. Maybe the 3/8 I was using a little bit boogered up, because I do every now and then abuse my tools, but this is actually just going up here nice and smooth, super easy. Turning them in, and I put a light honk on them. And again, anytime you do anything, including intake manifold, you start from the inside and you crisscross and you move out. Same thing right here. I'm going to start from the inside once I tighten this thing up, and then go from there.
Spark plug polishing. Hey, look, here's one more little thing I do right now. Get myself one of these pick tools right here, really sharpen it, and I just dig down next to the actual electrode and just make sure there's no crap up in there. And then once you get that done, you get yourself some carburetor and choke cleaner and spray it up in and get all that gook out of there. And then I'm going to take a little 600 grit sandpaper and get between the actual gap right up in here, just clean that thing up, and it'll be good to go.
That's why I do that. Just a little carbon buildup, and to get that out of there with that little pick. I mean, I'm cheap. I go buy some new spark plugs. You saw my collection over there. But that just cleans it out. And like I said, I'll hit it with some of this carburetor and choke cleaner. And don't worry about it, I'm going to regap these to make, like that one right there, I can tell right now is a little bit too close. That one is a little bit too far apart, so it's real simple. I'll just gap those. I got a feeler gauge here. If you don't know what a feeler gauge is, it's nothing you do in a disco or in a nightclub trying to feel up people. It's just a way to measure it. So you've seen this before. I'm not saying I'm organized here. I just don't like spark plugs and crap laying around. So these are your typical small block Chevy spark plugs for newer Chevy V8 motors, not the LS type or the LTs, but just a post 86, 87. And then this is all my older stuff right here, and I got a good collection of it. I never throw anything away, including a couple of points. But anyway, so there's those AC Delcos. I actually got a brand new set right here, but I'm gonna use the other set because I didn't see any oil on them, and they're fairly clean. You just saw me clean these suckers out. All right, check this out. So obviously I'm gonna check the gap after I run it. There's a feeler gauge right there. 0.35 is what I think it is, but check this out. I pulled out my handy dandy book right here. Now, no, it's not 1954 to 63, but if you look at Chevrolet right here, this book is great because it goes through Plymouth, Oldsmobile, and it tells you the basics of all of it. And I went ahead and tabbed myself back here on the tune-up specifications, and here you go. So if you look right here, so Buick, Cadillac, Chevrolet, all of these are 0.35, which kind of like backs up what I had in my brain, stored in my brain for the last 30, 40 years. 0.35 inches. So you set your feeler gauge for 0.35, and that basically you gap your spark plugs out of the way. Same thing with the points if you got a points driven distributor. No big deal, but books like this are super value. And you know what, guys, I got a couple of John Deeres in the back, and while I was flipping through here, John Deere. So all my specs are in here for John Deere. See if they got a model 420, 400. So that's so cool, man. I mean, books like this, don't throw them away. The old Chilton's manual, again, 54 to 63, but I just confirmed what I already knew, that the points, not the points, but the plug gap on here is 0.35. So let me knock that out real quick. So just in case you don't know this, because it's old school, there's 0.035 of an inch, and what you do is the electrode, you just basically put that in when that one's just tight in here, and then go forth and stick it in there, and that one is nice and tight. Now if it's a little bit loose, like that one's a little bit loose, just lightly tap it, not much, and that's just a little bit tighter. So I'm just basically setting the gap on all of these spark plugs, and then what I do on the end is to take a fold a piece of, what is this, 150, it doesn't make a difference really, you just can't use no 80 grit, and stick right up in here like this. And that way that electrode, so basically your boot of your spark plug comes on here, comes from the coil, the 12 volt coil turns it into 50,000 volts in the case of an HEI, 30,000 for some of these older cars, but I'm going to go HEI. Boot comes on here, and then that gap, the little blue flame spark jumps from here to here or from here to here, and then right there on the top of the compression stroke it goes bam, and it lights it and pushes the piston back down. I'm just telling you something. If you're watching this channel you already know that, but spark, compression, and fuel is what makes a small block Chevy, or any small block Chevy, Ford, Chrysler, lawnmower engine, John Deere, run. All right, the flamingos have been evicted out of the pool. Never trust a flamingo. Hey, sometimes for the really difficult jobs I have to outsource it. No, he didn't fall down, but actually, dude, you're gonna get grease.
Where they at, man?
You're gonna get grease on your hair.
This is 1966 Volkswagen on
1966 Volkswagen, so check this out. Here's the view from the top. For 2 beers,
Damn.
for 2 beers, he's putting in my starter.
And some chips. I need some chips for
chips.
dessert.
Some, you want the Pringles or you want the Doritos?
Doritos, definitely Doritos.
All right, man, hey, look,
This
thanks
is
a lot.
This is the double.
This is absolutely cool. So 2 beers, and he jumped in the pool. Now check this out. The flamingos they've been told to leave the pool. They've got a no trespass order, and now they're just sitting there watching us the entire time. I take this stuff right here, water displacement test number 39, believe it or not, by DuPont engineers, and actually they went ahead and called it WD-40 then. So this is how they were going to get water displaced. Test number 39, which turned into WD-40, by the way. Little tip for you, just like the flamingo story. Hey, look, I take that little long thing right there, and I stick it in every one of the spark plug holes, and I spray a liberal amount of oil in it. This is a light oil. And then I take the motor, I think this is a 5/8, and I spin the motor on the front right here. This is a 1/2-inch drive, so I can do that. Then I put a little bit more WD-40 in here, spin the motor a little bit more WD-40, spin the motor a little bit more. That's just in case the rings have seized up in some kind of way, but the motor spins freely, but I still want to make sure that those rings get a little bit of lubrication before I cold crank this thing. Now, when the HEI shows up from Summit Racing, the one that's got the tack drive on it, I'm going to pull this one out, set this thing for first top dead center, make sure both of these are actually in the closed position. That way I've got true top dead center, I'm not 180 degrees out. And then I'm going to take my little tool with a cordless drill, and I'll spin that motor for 2 or 3 minutes and pre-lube the motor. And what you'll see then is all the oil coming out here through the push rods, by the way, because that's how the oil gets up in here. And then I know I've got oil into all the oil galleys, into the bearings, into the mains. All right, hey folks, let me go ahead and button up this video right now. So that's what the German fire department sounds like, a volunteer fire department. So check this out, everything's completed right now. That actually looks pretty doggone cool down here. It's all nice and clean, buttoned up. Again, I'm waiting for that Chevrolet HEI tack drive distributor show from Summit Racing, so that'll actually make it just a little bit easier. I didn't get my battery today, that was on the plan, but I'll just go ahead and measure it out today and stop at the Home Depot, which is like Bauhaus over here, and they sell batteries just like Walmart does. So I got all these suckers cleaned up nice and gapped right here on the end, and I've already made the decision to get rid of that Holley carburetor that's on there, and I'm gonna go with a Demon. So I'll just keep a couple of Demons back here. So this is a Demon, a 625. That should be plenty for a little 327, unless that thing spins like 9,000 RPM, which of course it doesn't. It'll probably do like 5,500. And then I'm going to put a brand new 1-wire alternator on it. So I got a couple of those always at spare stock. So check this out. That's about it. Close it up because I got to go back to work tomorrow. And I think that's about it. I think I got everything knocked out. Gil went ahead and came over here today. We probably spent more time just hanging around BSing, but I'm gonna go down here. So the starter is in, and I'm just gonna put that little handle back here, the support pieces on the back, I looked at the box. I think I actually found that all right. So look, everything's going good right here. Battery box is mounted. I got a couple pieces up there drying right now, but I'm gonna not do anything for the rest of the day. I tell you one thing I did do though, because it's all about attention deficit disorder. Man, I got so many projects. When you're an empty nester like we are, you can't tell your son to have the grass cut when he comes back. But what I did do today, all the way from China, I ordered that coil right there, and it was only $31 and then about $7 express shipping. It showed up in 7 days. Also got a brand new voltage regulator in. So one thing leads to the other. Voltage regulator was shooting at like 16 volts. So I'm suspecting that's why my coil crapped out from 1971. And therefore now I've got a nice solid 13.8 volts. The coil's not being driven too hard and this thing runs like a top. So tomorrow when I come back from work, I'm gonna sit on my 1971 John Deere 400 and cut the grass, because I, ladies and gentlemen, consider that therapy. That thing ran good today. That thing ran good today. And I had the grandkids over today and they didn't ride those. We just went and got an ice cream. So hey, take care from Roger's Hot Rod Garage. Like, subscribe, and share if you like what you see. And if not, it don't make me no never mind. So take care, bye-bye. I'm gonna go jump in the pool right now.